Hi everybody, thank you for coming out to 1 Million Cups Westminster again. We've got a great presenter for you today, and I won't take that much time, but I just want to say thank you. For those of you who are joining on Facebook, please remember that you can put your questions in the comments and we will read them out loud to the presenter after she's done presenting. I'd like to thank Startup Portal for hosting us today. This is the facility that we're in right now. And then we also want to thank our community sponsor, Magic, who is my employer. And quick reminder that we've got our Good Game Fest this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Town Mall. So go to ggfest.org for more information about that. Thank you to Genie Bird Baking Company, who's provided the butter horns, the sweet scones, and the bacon cheddar scones this morning. So if you're not coming to these meetings physically, you don't get to enjoy the baked goods from Genie Bird. And also they provided the coffee this morning as well. And for those of you who don't know, Furnace Hills Coffee, who usually does our coffee, they're actually moving from their location on Main Street to Town Mall. So keep tabs with them. They will be back up and running soon, but you can still order online from furnacehillscoffee.com with the discount code 1MC Westminster to get 25% off your whole order, 25% off your whole order. Great deal. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Julia Snap, who's going to walk us through what 1 Million Cups is all about. Julia?
Thank you, Graham. Happy to see everyone here. I'm just going to go over what we're all about here at 1MC Westminster and what our mission statement is. So we, 1MC Westminster exists to lower the barrier for access to education, resources, and connections for entrepreneurs. Our mission, without the pillars, which I'll go over in a second, and the core program, this mission cannot be accomplished. So what are we looking for? We're looking for presentations, not pitches. This is all about connection, not networking. We really want to get to know your business and the challenges that you face so that we can connect you to all of the resources that our community has to offer. We are for the community, by the community. Nobody here has ownership of 1MC Westminster, and nobody should be paid to do 1MC Westminster. We're always radically and intentionally inclusive. We're really looking for people of all backgrounds, with that entrepreneurial and business-minded spirit to come and converse with us. So we meet every week, Wednesdays at 9 a.m., which everyone here knows. We have 2 presenters whenever possible. Presenters' organizations should be less than 5 years old and willing to ask for help, because we always end with the question, what can we as a community do to help you and your business? So here's our organizing team: Graham Dodge, who you've met, Russ Hammett, Val Giovanni, John Wheatman, Tina Thomas, myself, Julia Snap, and Gabby Rose. And with that, I will hand it back over to Graham.
All right.
Introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Julius. All right, so let me just queue up our next presenter here and her presentation. Let me get rid of that. This happened last time. Let's see if I can. All right, is that little box still there? Okay, great. All right, please welcome Judith from Nurselynx.
Thank you. Hello everybody, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Judith Walker. I actually am a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for, about 30 years. I've been working in healthcare, and I also have my master's degree and my MBA. So I've actually worked with patients for a very long time, and I've seen the disparities in both healthcare from the patient side as well as from the side of being the actual clinician. And some of the things that I have had to deal with is working understaffed, especially during this pandemic. Patients being sicker now than ever before. They're not staying in hospitals very long. When they do go to the hospital, then they come home, and they come home so debilitated they don't really have a way of getting the help that they need to be successful, to stay home or age in place, as we call it. So they either end up in an assisted living or they end up in a nursing home. And during this pandemic, it's been really terrible, especially for family members that weren't even able to access their family members. They weren't able to see them when they were in the nursing home or in the hospital last year. So during this time, this thought came through my mind that we have so many different ways of helping people to receive care, but what the problem has been is either access to care, knowledge or lack of knowledge to know that you have access to this care, and price points. So that's why I decided to create an app. So my app, Nurselynx, is to link people with nurses. And that means caregivers, RNs, LPNs, nurse practitioners. All of those fall underneath the criteria of nurse. And so whether you need a caregiver in the home or you need an RN to come and change a dressing after you come home from the hospital, we provide that service and we try to make it as easy as possible. So I'm just going to give you just a little bit about why I'm doing what I'm doing. Safety is a big deal for me, has always been a big deal. So we try to make it very safe from both the employee standpoint as well as the actual end user. So as far as the persons who are hired, what we're looking for is to meet the budget of people who don't really realize maybe I need to run to the store and mom can't be by herself, so I can get someone to stay with her for an hour or two safely while I'm gone. Or I have to go to work for a meeting, so someone to be there because my mom or dad has dementia or they just came home from surgery. So it's like an online marketplace. So it is a mobile app, and it's to help with scheduling, time tracking, care coordination, and they also get paid through the app as well. And so what we do is we make sure all of our staff are thoroughly vetted. So once they've signed up for the app, we make sure that we've done the background check on them, check their licensing information and everything, to make sure that they don't have anything going on in their background that would prevent them from being able to use the app, and they are not approved to be a user on the app until all of that is done. Also, we are also licensed and bonded as an agency. The disco ball didn't come down like we promised, but it's all right.
I forgot.
I will pretend. So this is pretty much available on the Google Store. We are almost on the iOS. They have certain questions that they need answered before they say yes. Like, why do you need to put your phone number in to verify that you're a person? I just do as I'm told. So pretty much you need service. You just pick the kind of provider that you need. We also offer for our clinicians a way for them to notify if they are in any distress whatsoever, because the safety point is very important to me. So that little red button that allows them to just push it, and it will go to all of their emergency contacts to let them know exactly where they are. It's very easy sign up. And then for the person who needs a caregiver, all they have to do is put their address in, how long they need the service for what time to what time, what day to what day. They can do it for 7 days, they can do it for 1 day, they can do it for an hour, they can do it for 24 hours, and it will calculate and then what they need. So what happens is on the on my end, I can see what care was given to that person, and then it will calculate how much their rate will be, and it will not come out until after the provider has actually gone to the home, cared for them, and then they actually have an acknowledgement that they have to press on there in order from their app to let it go through. So, the maps and the locations, for the same reason. When they're going to the job, I can see they're going to the job to make sure that they actually go there and care for the person. So that's it for me. So what has been my struggles with my business? Well, getting my vision across to my app developer has been the biggest struggle. Functionality has been another one. But now I'm working on the marketing, and I don't know, for instance, how to get my app to show up on you're playing your little video game, those commercials come up. I don't know how to do that. I also, really want to have key stakeholders in the business to give me their opinion of the functionality and what I can do to make it better, easier, more efficient. But those are the main reasons why I would love to have people involved. I've done all of this out of my own pocket, with no loan to anything, just taking my pay and curbing costs, not traveling, miss that, to be able to, propel this forward. But this is a dream of mine, and I believe everybody should have access to care. And my goal for this business is actually threefold. The first one is for the caregiver, so that if I'm, usually what happens as a professional, we have 2 to 3 jobs, most of us, and both jobs want you to do a minimum of, say, 15 hours. But maybe I'm too tired to do that. But I can go and see this patient for 2 hours really quickly, make an extra couple of dollars, go back home, get some rest before the next shift. And I worked doubles. I did doubles for years. I worked night shift to day shift to night shift. 5 days working 12-hour shifts back to back. And it really does affect the way people are cared for. And that's why it's important to me, because I believe why people are getting sicker and why more people are passing away unnecessarily is because people are just exhausted and we make mistakes when we're tired. So I would like this organization to be able to be a staffing fill-in for organizations who may get a call out and they can't find a caregiver, for instance. They can use the app and get that caregiver to work in that hospital or nursing home for that day or for that period of time that they need them, to try and defray the disparities in caregiving. I've worked in a shift where I'm washing patients, giving medications, doing treatments, hanging IVs, and I'm doing all of that in a 12-hour shift. And to try and juggle all of that, because we didn't have a nursing assistant for that shift, is very difficult, and it's very hard to give very good care that way. So we want to provide better care and in a small amount of time, and just be what it does is it sends a blast up to everybody in that area, so whoever wants it accepts it and goes. And why not make it that way? I might be retired, but I might want to do a few shifts. So, that way I can keep using my license. And, Christmas is coming, or the holidays are coming, or I wanted to take a vacation, so let me take a few shifts through here. So that's my dream for this, and then also to make sure people who are home can age in place. So that's really important to me. I've done home health for such a long time, and the biggest fear that I've seen from my patients is that they're going to end up in a nursing home. And a lot of them are by themselves. They either don't have children, or the children are out of state, or their life partner has passed away. And they're sitting there saying, well, what do? I can't move around as well as I used to, and I don't want to be in a nursing home in an environment. So this way they can age in place, and it's actually more cost effective. it's a third of the cost to have a caregiver in your home 24 hours a day than it is to be in a nursing home. So now you can have more quality of life and you can be where you want to be in your home. And people want to be in their homes. I've had patients who had stairs. They said, I don't care, I can't manage stairs anymore. I'm going to sleep downstairs in the living room. I just want to be in my house. You know, this is where my kids grew up. This is where my memories are. So that's all of those things go through me, and that's how I designed my app, to make sure that I would give that back to those people.
Thank you very much, Judith. All right, let's turn it to the community here for questions. I know I have lots of questions, but Tina had her hand up first.
I
Go
have
ahead,
lots
Tina.
of questions as well.
Tina
Thank
from Bishop
you.
Love Project.
It sounds like that you are tapping into a much needed market on both sides. My daughter's an RN, and if RNs had a better quality of life, they wouldn't be guiding out of the whole profession.
Right.
And then the people who want to age in place, that happened in our family, where the family member had a DNR because he refused to, if he got placed into a hospital or a nursing home,
Right.
that no, you want to stay at home.
Right.
So I appreciate that you're hitting both markets. I guess initially I had the question of, which market are you hitting, the home market or the healthcare market when it comes to the placement of the nurses? But it sounds like you're hitting primarily the home, but also opening it up to the potential for nurses to work in the hospital setting for the money, and if the hospital would need it. The app part, as you were talking, I went ahead and on my iPhone downloaded it. So we do. There is a slight glitch in it that I'll be happy to talk to you about. I know there are developers here who could also probably talk to you.
Oh, great.
And then help us, I guess, understand. Is it just been you on the marketing end, and that's why you're seeking help, or?
I've tried different marketing companies. They haven't worked out very well. They make the promises of all the things they're going to do, and then you wait in 3 months and still nothing has been initiated. So it's been very difficult for me in that respect. I have someone that manages my Facebook and Instagram pages, and they do that kind of marketing for me. But as far as like the real marketing, I haven't been able to quite figure out that piece yet. But yes, as far as the question you asked about, is it more for the patient or more for the nurse? I would say both. I feel the pain of both sides. And so I know being a nurse and what I've had to go through as a nurse, I want to have better quality of life as a nurse. And I do believe that a lot of people are pulling out of the field and we're not having as many graduates because it has been brutal for us for many, many years. And it is a thankless job. It really is. And we don't get paid as much as other health professions do. But I know that the reason why I got into it is because I love to care for people and I love to see people shine. And so when I went to home health, it was to get that patient better so that they could be able to age in place. But what I found was because of the changes in Medicare, we can't be in the home as much. So the patient still has that disparity where now I go to see them tomorrow and they're falling because they try to get up by themselves because there was nobody else available and they got weak or they got dizzy. So I would like to be able to provide them with a service that is nominal because it's usually very expensive if you go through an agency.
Kristen Zimmer from With Tribes.
Yeah, my question was, an obstacle that I see is something that you mentioned, folks who just need someone for a short period of time, and those time limits, like the normal having to get a 4-hour block, is a difficult obstacle to overcome. And then those occasional agencies who will offer 1-hour blocks, the cost is double, so you might pay. So are you saying that if I just wanted an aide to come in to sit with Dad for an hour, that would be competitive to having an aide come for 4 or 6 hours?
Correct.
That's awesome. That's really awesome because that is a huge need.
And so the reason why we do it that way is we set it up so that it is in your area. I don't want you to have to drive from Harford County to see a patient for an hour. That doesn't make any sense. So we try to keep it as, work where you live type of thing. So you only get the blast if you're in that area.
So you're trying to saturate each area with enough caregivers, almost like
Yes.
Uber, and so you throw the job out and someone can just grab, oh, I'm free, I can do that right now.
Exactly.
Have you figured out how many you'll need how many aides you'll need in each area to be able to
No.
execute that?
No, I haven't actually done that. But what we've been doing is we've been hiring, ongoing
Yeah.
and getting them to sign up on the app, so that we actually start to have people available. But my biggest obstacle is getting people to understand what the app does, so that they will use the app to hire those people.
Billy Live from Wisdom Court Entertainment.
I think it's cool because my quick story, my mother, before I moved back to Westminster, my mother was doing really, really bad. She was like an alcoholic, but the alcoholism was disguising health issues. So I came up and we was able to get her to the hospital and took her to Westminster Healthcare across from Westminster High School. And when she went in there, gave her all this medication and stuff. They said she had dementia. They said she was gonna die like 3 times, and I didn't want to take that for an answer. So I stepped in and started doing a lot of stuff and getting on her nerves, changed her medication and all that, and she's alive. But on top of that, not recently, but last year she caught COVID. That was one of the worst places that they got, where a lot of people got it. And after that, I just took her out. And since she's been home, she's on 4 medications, and she remembers everything. She hasn't had to go to doctors for any sickness, anything like that. So her being home almost either mentally or physically did something to her body, and she's been healthy. She might need help occasionally. Right now she's fine, but something like that would have been a better go-to for my situation than having her stuck in that place for 2 years, filling up with medicine and telling me she wasn't going to survive. Because she's probably going to outlast me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, and
So I
that's
think
what
it's
I
cool.
see. Yeah, and that's what I see, because the stress, it's very stressful to be in a hospital or nursing home. It really is. And so that's why it's important to age in place if it at all possible. And I'm a caregiver myself. I care for my brother, and he's one of the inspirations for this decision to make this app, because I was doing everything. I was going to work, coming home, getting him ready for bed, getting him up early in the morning, getting him ready for the day, brushing his teeth, getting him washed up. And it was getting to the point where I could just see that I was not where I needed to be mentally or emotionally, because I wasn't able to have decompression time. And I actually took a step back and started getting caregivers for him. And I realized that I actually have so much quality of life now that I can just enjoy him and just be with him and just hang out with him. He's my best friend. I want to hang out with my best friend. I don't just want to be his, nurse. I want to be his friend. I want to be his sister. And so that dynamic has changed in the past year and a half. It has been an amazing change, even in the environment of our home, because we're laughing, we're cracking jokes, we're hanging out. And it's not more just, oh, come let me do a task for you. And I don't think any family member should have that. I think families really should be able to have that quality of life to be with one another. And when I first started, I was like, how am I even going to be able to afford it? And somehow God has made a way that I've made an app and able to pay for caregivers for my brother. So it's a blessing to get out my own way, so to speak, and not try to take control of the whole situation and fix it all myself, and step back and say, I need help.
Yeah, I still take care of my mom. Now she's in a better place. I don't have to do a lot, but I still crush her medicines up every day before I go. I go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning, get up, crush her medicines,
Right.
come home, crush her medicines, take
Right.
all the doctor's appointments. I do all that now. So it's cool, but what you had would have been like amazing when she was going through that transition.
Well, let's talk about what she has, because it's basically a gig economy app for nurses. Is there anything else like that on the market?
Not I've found.
There's
I've
no
actually done my research, and I've actually I'm in the process of patenting it right now, and I haven't found anything like it.
Is the reason for that because of the agencies that Kristen mentioned? Is there too much competition
Yes.
from them? Okay,
Yes.
so they are effectively your competitors, even though they're not direct competitors.
They're not direct competitors, but they definitely are competitors
Yeah, okay.
because that is the mindset of most people is if I need a caregiver, I'll go online and just find one of these different agencies to go through. So, right at home and visiting angels, things like that, are mostly what people would reach out for.
And could I, as a customer, pay cash for that service, or would I use insurance? Or both?
If it's insurance, then they would just contact us directly so we can be able to bill the insurance.
Okay.
But they can actually pay on the app as well through their credit card or debit card.
So you could just be a cash patient, so to
Yes.
speak. Rick Linebuck from Startup Portal.
So for your app, and Kirsten stole my thunder with the Uber for healthcare. But it took me a while to get it, but midway through I'm like,
Uber, what's that?
yeah. But Uber probably had hundreds of millions of dollars up front before they launched. So for you, what is your territory in this area that you're trying to saturate and kind of prove your model?
Harford County, Baltimore City, Howard County.
Okay, so some pretty big counties, but not impossible, right? So from an infrastructure standpoint, licensing for nurses, background checks, that comfort that someone unknown is coming in my house, what's your back-end infrastructure going to look like when you have the funding?
Okay, so what I'm looking for is streamlining. So in other words, they apply it through the app. Then we would then go vet them through the system I already have a background checks company set up. It's already set up and everything. And it checks their background as far as criminal, nationwide, as well as county and city. And it also checks their license to make sure that their license has not been suspended.
Is that a manual process or an automatic process?
I would have to type their information in. So the one I have now sends the information to them to complete so that I don't actually have to do that piece anymore. Because it's very time consuming, trying to type all of that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I would imagine there's probably an API that you could integrate with in the back end they enter in their own information and it clears them.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what I would like to be able to do, yes.
Yeah, so overall, I mean, for what I hear you is that I've taken it this far. I think everybody gets the concept, which is great. And 2 hours of healthcare. Ironically, I have a client that is doing testing for PCR testing at schools, and the agreement from the healthcare agency was a minimum of 4 hours. Basically, when really the testing's an hour, 2 hours, or they only need 1 hour. Basically to do the swap. So those type of things. There's a solution, but from a funding standpoint and what you need right now, have you walked through, your overall, sort of what's your ask, I guess is the question.
Money, help, brains, everything. I need a little bit of everything, honestly. I do need more money, of course, because there's only so much that I can do. I'm not a tech person. I definitely am not. And so just dealing with glitches and all of that kind of stuff and getting everything to work smoothly, I need help with that. I need help with the marketing of it. And then also, like you said, the infrastructure so that everything could be more of a streamlined processing. That's what I'm really needing. And that's why I'm here today to bend your ears and get your perspective of what I would need to be successful.
And sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do you have anything in writing, like a general, check plan of here's where the numbers are looking?
I do. And I need, like you said, I need about 100,000, of course, to be able to successfully launch this, as well as market it and create the commercials and all of that stuff.
You just downloaded the app, right?
Yeah, and there's a glitch.
Okay,
but like I said, we're not quite approved yet on iOS.
Okay.
They're still working on it because there's some things that so we actually haven't gotten approved yet.
But you found it.
I'm surprised it was actually on there.
I was able to download it, and
Oh, okay.
it keeps telling me that thanks for using Nurselynx. A new update is available on App Store. Press OK to update to the latest version for enhanced features, but it's a loop. I press OK and it just takes me back to open
So,
it.
yeah, so it actually has been published by the App Store, which is great, so you got through that.
Yeah, because I spoke with the developer and they told me that they're still waiting for approval.
Is your developer local?
No, they're not local.
Oh,
They're out of
okay.
the country. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's a local developer that we should introduce you to, and I think that they might be able to help you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Judith? I think this is a great candidate eventually, Rick, for equity crowdfunding because of the consumer-facing aspect of it and just how, I mean, she is.
I agree.
I mean, you're apologizing for not being a tech person, but you don't need to. I mean, it's good to know where you need help, but at the same time, you are a nurse and you have domain expertise in this in the marketplace. So
People don't want help from tech people.
right, yeah, they're going to trust her
Another
before they're going to
yeah.
trust another Mark Zuckerberg creating the app for them and telling them what they need.
Super cool, and I feel like it's very needed. I was excited when I saw that you were speaking today because I work in senior healthcare and I think it's very needed.
I was gonna say, Kristen's gonna be a great go-to for feedback and testing of 'cause it's gonna be great for you when this app is up and running because you know so many
People ask me all the time, and right now, if
who
they
need
can't afford an agency, do you know what advice I have to give? Tap into your church and see if maybe there's any folks who will work as caregivers, almost like under the table, which isn't great advice to be giving.
And it's not safe because I actually have seen patients be robbed, and they are a vulnerable age population.
Certainly.
And they've actually had a caregiver come in, convince them to give them large sums of money.
Right.
So that's one of the things I'm trying to make sure that they are safe. And that's why I do the vetting that I do, and I do have liability insurance and all of that to make sure that the consumer is protected.
Right.
Because I definitely don't want to see that happen. My mom is 70 now, so to even think that someone could manipulate her and convince her to give her life savings away, it's very debilitating, and a lot of times they can't retrieve their money.
Right.
And this is their retirement money,
It sounds like the competition from the agencies is going to be a matter of you keeping your overhead as low as possible so you can still have profit margins and undercut them at the same
and
time.
be able to offer the 1 hour app option and
Right.
still operate.
Do you know because you probably have more experience than me, do you know if the agencies make their caregivers sign like non-competes? Because I feel like that might be a problem too. Like, let's say I worked right at home as my day job, but I wanted to pick up extra jobs. Do you know if those agencies make them sign off something saying they won't work for other?
Well, I don't consider this to be an agency, so I don't think it would fall underneath that criteria because they're working as an independent contractor, so on their time off, they're working an extra job, so it would be no different than if they worked a shift at Walmart after they left the nursing home.
Yeah.
So that's
non-compete wouldn't be defensible in court either because of the nature of the work, I think.
Yeah.
and then it's really set up so that I don't have to work a 12-hour, 16-hour shift if I don't want to. I mean, yes, we have 24-hour caregivers, but there's a lot of people that they just don't have the strength or the energy to give a full 4, 8, or 12-hour shift, but they're willing to go sit with someone and help them, bathe them, dress them, because it's more engaging. And honestly, what I found myself being in home health this long, it was nice to have the human component that you don't have in a nursing home or hospital. I'm going to bed B, room 33, versus I'm going to go see Mr. Jones today. Oh my goodness, he's got 5 grandkids. You find out their lives. You talk to them, you're engaging with them. You're finding about, I had a patient, he was an airline pilot and his wife was a beauty queen. And I was like, I would watch that movie. He told me, I'm telling you, as a home health, this happened to me just last year. I went to take care of this man. And just hearing his story, and he could speak 6 different languages. And he was an airline pilot, and now he's retired. And it was just nice to go in there and not just go in there and just take care of a bandage, to actually engage with him, with his daughter, who was such a wonderful caregiver. But to let her know, I could see she was overwhelmed, and it was bothering me. I was like, you need help. You can't do this all by yourself, and she was trying to. So I know how that feels.
Are there questions on Facebook? No, okay. And tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, I don't think most of us know any other Londoners who live in Westminster.
Okay, all right. So, born in East London, East Ender, I actually came to America in 1982, gets in the will, didn't want to come here, honestly didn't. It was the best time of my life in England. Oh my God, I was popular, had the best life ever. And then my mom said she wanted to be with her family. Everybody else had immigrated from Jamaica, which is my actual nationality. And so she wanted to be with her family, and so we came here. So I actually have been a nurse since 1987. And I absolutely love caring for people. I became a nurse because my brother was born with a rare disorder called arthrogryposis multiforme, and it is a birth defect. And so I watched him grow and flourish, and I remember just when he was growing up, just encouraging him to, get stronger and do for himself and be independent. And he just inspired me to, really want to be able to care for people. And it's something I'm good at. My mom said when he came home, I was 8 years old, I grabbed him. I said, come on, go on upstairs, go lay down. I got him and took him and took care of him. And she said, when I was really little, I was diapering my little sister. I was like, hello, we're only 3 years apart. How can that be? But no, I don't answer the questions. I just say yes. Okay, Mom. She's 70s. That's true. But yes, so I was married, divorced now. I have 2 amazing kids. Son's a personal trainer, and my daughter, she's going to school for teaching, another underappreciated profession. And so, now I live with my brother, my mom, my daughter. My son has gone and got married and living his little life out there and everything. And this has just been a passion of mine. I've actually had this came into my head 8 years ago. I just didn't know how on earth to implement it. And it just kept coming back in a cycle, like that, like the glitch. And I just didn't know what to do. And it actually took a while to get the app where I wanted it. We could go back and forth, till I got to where, and I still have things that I needed to do, but I'm happy where it is right now. I just want to be able to progress from there. So that's my life. That's me. Simple girl from England.
Last question. How many people are using the app currently? I mean, because it's not available mobily yet.
Well, it's on Google Play.
It's on Google Play.
It is on Google Play. Oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so it's on Google Play and it's working on Google Play. Haven't had any problems with it there, but iOS is just a different platform.
Are you generating revenue then through Google Play?
No, I wouldn't say I'm generating revenue because I really don't know how to market it to get people to understand what it does. So the patients that we do have are usually through phone calls, not through the app.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, then thank you very much, Judith.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation. Tina, you want to take us out?
Wow.
I don't think we have anyone next week yet.
Okay. Well, that was just amazing, Judith. It's great to meet you.
You too.
Thank you so much for presenting to us. And that's what 1 Million Cups is all about, hearing from entrepreneurs saying, I got it so far and I need some help. And we have an entire room full of resources to help Judith. I can't wait till this is over so we can just start talking to her about connections, because that's what we do here at 1MC. We help entrepreneurs with connections they need to take their dream to the next level. So at this point, I'd like to thank Startup Portal, CFO Rick, for our space here in Westminster to meet personally. We're so grateful that we are now. And to Jeannie Bird for the amazing food and drink. Yes, Jeannie Bird. Yum. Thank you so much, Bernie. And to everyone who has come today to help the entrepreneur who's presenting, and hopefully it's a positive win-win. I think it usually ends up that way, which is great. Thanks to Magic, major sponsor, Graham Dodge. Gigi Fest at the mall this weekend, gigifest.org. Got to check it out. First inaugural. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fabulous. We have a meeting. We're a get together next week. We're not sure who the presenter is,
Sometimes we have one, sometimes we have two, and next week it could be you. Go to 1millioncups.com/Westminster. Fill out the application to apply so we can figure out how we can help you get to the next level. Have an awesome week.